Matt's in the building. Neverending Becoming. Matt, tell me something you take great joy in.
Well, I was told not to say masturbation, so I'm not going to say masturbation. But currently,
I wanted to end on masturbation because it's more of a finish than it is a start, right?
This guy. Honestly, it sounds super dorky, but I've been doing a lot of reading, working from home. It's been
Don't virtue signal.
It's a blessing. Reading. I'm serious.
Okay, I'm just joking.
Specifically, wait. Specifically though, don't think I'm reading like Moby Dick or self-help books. I'm reading fucking comic books, guys. I am reading a backlog of comic books that I have not read. Like I love them, right? So I have a lot of books that I'll buy because I'm a big eBay guy. So I have like this huge collection that I'm like, oh, I'll read that. I never have time to read them. Now that I work from home in that downtime period, because work, you just got downtime sometimes. Crack open a comic and I'm like, oh, cool, I can do this, right? And it's nice. It's some escapism, and I've really found a lot of joy in my old hobby. So,
do you ever find yourself describing the comic consumption as watching comics, not reading comics? Is that a thing? Because
no,
it's always very graphic.
Yeah,
right?
Oh yeah, totally. Yeah, it is a graphic medium. I mean, in a lot of
I don't know the universe, the comic universe as well as you do. So
storyboards. I'm just reading a bunch of storyboards, right? So I'm watching a storyboard. That's really what it is, graphic arts.
It's just like a really slow movie. Like if you read them fast enough, technically you'd just be watching. With captioning, of course.
Wait till I can feed all these comic books into an AI, and then I can extrapolate the movie based on the images you already see. So then it'll just make it a video based on the comic books, right?
Do you think you'd enjoy, just a little sidebar, like making comic AI stuff? That's like a huge thing now. Image replication.
I think that'd be super cool. Yeah, absolutely.
Like be a comic god that's just like shooting lightning bolts of creativity on the page.
I saw somebody, it was in the back of one of the ones I had, they had an older comic from the 70s and they modernized it. They gave it new art or new coloring. They took the line drawings, and they added the color and the ink, and
took
it made
all the pervy stuff out.
Yeah, right. All the thick butts and big boobs that they used to do. No. But it was, they modernized this image, right? And it looked like a modern comic, but it's from the 70s. And I thought, wow, you could totally do that with AI. Like, kind of feed it these old images, Jack Kirby, and like get a more modern take, more modern colors on it. I literally had that thought the other day.
No, that's awesome. It's awesome. Yeah, I mean they do that with movies all the time. Again, I'm just tying back to my own thing.
Recoloring and re-editing.
Totally.
The George
Star
Lucas,
Wars especially. Come on.
Got to go back. I think comics is a medium though it's evolved, and you got to respect what came before, right? But it'd be cool to modernize some of that, make it accessible to modern readers. Some of it's a little bit dense and old, right? Like one of the characters,
I don't know
catchphrases is blue blazes. He says blue blazes. What the blue blazes? Instead of saying like a swear, blue blazes, and it's just like hilarious and hokey, right?
Yeah,
like
it sounds like the church is like censoring them or something. My answer for joy was basketball. So I'm glad that we both picked something that like
a hobby,
any age group could appreciate and connect to.
Absolutely.
We're all about trying to like lock down every demographic possible here.
I'm not gatekeeping joy, guys.
Don't gatekeep joy. That's true. Now tell me something. I did give Matt the questions a little bit ahead of time. And by a little bit, like 40 seconds before we started.
Literally, like you just told me.
So if it seems a little contrived, that's by design.
Yeah, we're doing it.
But tell me something you believe about money that you did not formally think about money.
When you get to a certain point with money, it doesn't matter anymore. You get to a certain level of wealth and money just doesn't matter anymore, right? Because it's just, we're talking briefly about Mr. Beast, and he has a sizable money. So interesting. Mr. Beast I first heard about from you. And he was big. I just didn't hear about him. And now he hit a level where he's everywhere. He's got candy, and he's just everywhere, right? Mr. Beast is in the last, not since we talked about him, but I mean when I'm hearing him and being Mr. Beast, now he's everywhere. But he has got a lot of money, right? And I feel like my daughter watches videos, and it's not bad. It's fine. But he just has a level of money where it doesn't matter what he spends on things, right? It just doesn't have any meaning. He can give somebody $100,000 while that person, it's going to rock their world. For him, he's at a level where $100,000, it's like whatever, right? It loses its meaning at a certain level, right? But I think it's a very, very high level, but at a certain level, it's just a means to an end, right?
How about for your own life? Did you hit a certain like income amount or like a certain comfort in?
No, I'm broke as a joke, dude. Are you kidding me? I'll never be at that level. But
no, but you're like, you live in a home.
Yeah.
right? Like you have some security, even without going to the income thing or whatever it may be,
sure.
like the creature comforts, right? Like there's all those jokes online about young guys in their ideal apartment being like an LCD or LED screen, a single seat, and like, I don't know, what's the other component? Like a stand for their laptop.
Computer, laptop. A phone charger and a laptop stand.
Which, considering like TV screens are getting cheaper than anything in the economy,
Right.
it makes sense that like it's more and more obtainable to like live that lifestyle, that ideal male lifestyle.
I mean, is that ideal? I don't know. Not for me. That's not. I guess. I mean,
It's bottom barrel. I'm not saying that's all there is, but it's kind of a dream. I mean, I always look to the future, the movie WALL-E, and how we just want a more comfortable seat and a more beautiful television.
and the food just to be like inserted into our mouths for us, right?
DoorDash, I think that's in their mission statement. I think that's half of what they do.
Yeah, it's pretty much how can we get the food, the fastest food to them, as fast as possible.
They should be
and gouge them for the most money on the way out.
Right. They should be training their employees to like be inserting fries into your mouth as they like reach into your wallet with their other hand.
I mean, I wouldn't put it past them. Yeah, no, I'm not. I'll be honest though, with the money thing, I've always been not terrible with money, but just money as a concept, I've just always been like, which is like totally a very, I feel like, privileged American almost like privileged thing, right?
It's
like,
true. We're Americans, so
right.
We're already so steeped in that mindset.
Eventually my family started doing okay, but when I was first growing up, we weren't like well off or anything, but it wasn't like, I don't know, money for me was never like I just never got it. Not that I didn't get it, but you know what I'm saying? You try to know what I'm trying to say?
The element of this, though, that you did not used to believe is you thought you could always want more, use more.
Yeah, I guess so.
Okay.
Right. And I guess, too, growing up, I thought getting money would be a lot easier, I guess, right? Like, growing up, I'll get a job and I'll just pay for things. But you don't realize that, like, you don't just get, like, infinite money, as stupid as that sounds. Like, you have a salary. So this is the you have to live within these means. It's not like you can get whatever you want, right? I want that TV, but it's like, can you afford it within these boundaries, right? That was something growing up that I know this sounds very juvenile, but it was just like, learning about money, right? You just don't know till you know, right?
Yeah. No, it's just how it goes. Something I think of is just about like charitable giving and how.
Look at this guy. Yeah.
I'm not trying to see. I called you off for virtue signaling. I'm doing it myself.
Thank you.
Specifically about excuse me. Specifically about how like giving away money actually leads to more money. I guess it's more of an abundance mindset type thing.
Tips. I was always a big tipper. I'd always
Tips is a great example. Yeah. You think like you're being clever maybe when you're young. You think you're being clever by like just shaving your tips or something like, oh, I don't have to pay this, so why would I pay this? But anyone that lives any sort of consistent lifestyle, you're going to go to that place again. Yeah. You'll then get treated worse in the future, which says nothing about the relationship you have with the people you're going to that establishment with, who might be looking down on you and or like not wanting to be friends with you anymore, right? Like
this skinflint.
It's even, and I guess the thing most specifically about like charity or giving money away is ultimately it is a selfish thing. Yeah. I think that's the thing that's more complicated is like you feel good doing it, and then it gives you the idea that there is more money to be had, and even
there's an episode of Friends. Do you remember the episode of Friends with Phoebe and Joey? She's like talking about doing selfless acts, and Joey's like, "Yeah, there is no act that's selfless," and she's like, "Yes, there is," and he's like, "No, there's not, because you get joy from it," and that was the whole issue, right? Like, I love it, a philosophical question in Friends, but it's true. Like giving something away, it's not completely selfless, right? You're definitely getting joy, or I'm giving somebody something and I'm so good, I'm such a good person because I'm giving them something, right? Like there really is no way to be altruistic and not feel any sort of like ego hit from it, in my opinion, right?
Yeah. And also I think you end up giving money away, and in a way it inspires you to make more money.
Yeah.
So like it lights the fire within you that just creates a better life for yourself. Like even like outside of the feeling good, like you can quantify the fact that if you say constantly give away 10% of your salary, that you just want to grow that bigger and bigger.
Mm-hmm. So I don't give away to charity, people. So I don't give away to charity. So I'm still broke.
I want a joke answer about, we tried to be serious a little bit at the start here, but we got to go into some sort of ridiculousness. Give me a joke answer about what makes a good podcaster.
I was explaining this to James earlier. It's hardcore sex based on this other podcast I found recently. That's the best thing about podcasts.
By the way, quickly, you're
ending it with hardcore sex.
When you talked about reading,
yeah,
you still gave an example. It was like pornographic Moby Dick.
Yeah,
you still
Moby Dick.
You still mentioned like kind of
dick,
graphically.
Yeah. No. I think the best, most. Well, no, you said joke answers, so I'll stick with my joke answers.
Okay, great.
Unfunny people. That's what I think the best thing is. Just people that are just really dry, and they're just like very monotone. And this is, I think, the best podcasters.
As an editor, I think it makes it much easier then to go back and post and insert the funny stuff in there. Like we're talking about using AI to change comic books, like in the future. Like if you have a dry, slow, monotone voice, you could chop that up all day. Use some sort of chat GPT to insert better laugh lines in the future. It's inevitable.
What you got?
Mine's real simple, British accent. Just if you have a British accent, you are a better podcaster. I mean, that's like a base joke, but it's crazy how you fall for that no matter what. I've been listening to Chris Williamson a little bit, Modern Wisdom.
Okay, yeah.
Do you familiar with this?
I've heard of
gent?
It. It sounds familiar.
And specifically, the thing that made me think of it was like I heard a bunch of his episodes. They were great. He's like a decently thoughtful guy. It's like a cinematic lighting package that they used to produce his thing. I'm kind of like a production nerd in terms of how it looks and all that. But he had one episode that I hit with this guy, Rory Sutherland, where he had another Brit on the podcast with him, and they both had British accents.
And it's all very nice and lovely.
It just, more than anything, it totally made me realize, I just believe this dude so much more because he has a British accent. Because when they both had British accents, when it was two accents, it totally like took away his power in a way. Especially since
I'm listening to an idiot. Listen to this other British guy.
I'm not trying to put him down, but it's just like, I'm being fooled on some level. Every other episode I'm listening to him with most likely an American.
We as Americans, I think, have an affinity for our former overlords because they used to control and be our like, overlords. I think we just are like, part of us are genetically dispositioned to be like, British person, they have the answers, right?
We just want daddy to come back. Is what it is.
King, oh king, please be a king for us. Oh daddy king. I want Prince Charles to come and, spank my fanny or something.
Exactly. Know. Yeah, they want specifically with one of those scepters or canes, if at all possible. But it's like,
if it's possible.
Went out for a pack of cigarettes and never came back. That's basically what happened.
That's it. King George, he went out for cigarettes.
I wanted to use the British word for cigarettes, but I realized it wasn't that kind of show. All right, give me something simple about health that drives people crazy.
Oh yeah. This was it. Like, I think that it's like. Now I've tried. I was totally gung ho on this, and now I'm trying to phrase it like
regular and frequent masturbation.
Yeah, I wasn't gonna go there. No, I think so much of people's health starts in the kitchen, right? You are what you eat. I think it's a very simple thing, but it frustrates people to no end. It's like, why am I not losing weight? Well, how much pop you drinking? You going to McDonald's how many times in a month? It's like, it's really simple, right? But we as Americans, we love excess. We are infatuated with bad food. Like, we just put a bunch of garbage into our body, and it's like, why am I so obese? Why do I not feel so good? It's like, what are you putting in your body? It's a simple but frustrating thing, right?
Totally. I think it's probably the number one thing people could do to alter their health outcomes. But it seems so ridiculous, obviously, because we have so many options. It just seems too easy. Mine is kind of like a very specific form of that. I just was going to say vitamin D.
Oh, yeah.
Which it'd be nice to be like, go out in the sun and get certain sun exposure.
Vitamin dick. Sorry, go ahead.
Thank you for spiking that ball.
I apologize.
Obviously, I brought this up. It has nothing to do with your actual levels. But people, I guess you could consume it in milk. And like, I give one of my family members advice, like, you should take vitamin D, and I get like, I drink milk a lot. I'm told that. But it's so hard to actually absorb enough vitamin D from just milk. Like, you're generally going to need a supplement that you probably pair with fat, right?
Right.
And it just drives me nuts because I live in Chicago, the Midwest of the United States, and you have to go through year after year after year after year of people I would say 2 weeks into January, maybe like the beginning of February, I start to talk about like, I don't feel good. I feel lethargic, this and that. It's like, you're wildly deficient in vitamin D. Like,
You've been outside? When was the last time you've been outside? When did you
haven't been outside in weeks, or like it's a mad dash to the car or something. Or maybe they're catching some sun rays through the windshield at the aforementioned McDonald's. But like, it's just another one of those, I guess, tales of how like humans are just bound to suffer from the same things over and over again. But like, I find it so fucking boring at this point. I just take a pill. It's one pill a day, and you won't be lethargic, depressed, and maybe it makes it easier then to exercise or to do these things that end up being also very beneficial for your outcomes, right?
I love it because you're absolutely right. Humans have still not learned some basic shit that we've known for hundreds of years, and we're still pulling the same shit, right?
I think we just want to be more complicated than we really are. Like, I feel as, I'm this individual person with these individual needs, but it's like, no, like you need water, you need vitamin D, and you need to work on yourself.
Our bodies,
something.
Our bodies all work off of the same concepts. Right? Like they're all basically, different bodies, but it's all a body, right? Like you put in what you get comes out, it's all the same stuff. It's an
organic machine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You put in bad things in your body, bad things are going to happen to your body. It's pretty straightforward. You want to feel better? Have some vitamin D. It's right there. It's all for you. I don't want to do that. Okay, then continue to be miserable, right? Like,
I don't want to do that because no one likes taking pills. I feel like people actively resent it. They're like, no, my problems are more special than that. Like, I can't just be feeling like crap because I've forgotten to take something that I should have been taking the last 30 years.
100%.
Like, I think they almost feel like it means that they're stupid or something. Like, how could I be suffering from this thing that's so easy?
So much of that is...
That's a food thing too. You start with the food.
I think you just said something that's very like universal though. People don't want to be stupid. I think that could be said for, that's like a watchword for so much stuff in the world right now. So many people are afraid to be stupid. They don't want to be like, oh, I made a mistake on that. Instead of realizing like, that's okay. You're growing, right? We're all growing as people, right? Like we're organic organisms. We're not these stationary static thing. Like we can grow and change. So changing your mind, taking new information and changing your mind, like, oh, actually, he's right. I should take vitamin D. I see all of these things. I see all these people taking it. They're feeling better. Like I can be part of that. I can change, right? Like you don't have to do the same things you do all the time. You can change your mind on something. Just because you like somebody and they do a bunch of shitty things and they've committed a bunch of crimes doesn't mean you can't change your mind about it, right? Like you can flip. You can come on. You could be like, hey, listen, like, I was fooled, but I'm not fooled anymore, right? Like, I thought McDonald's was healthy. It's not. I don't have to eat that anymore,
Yeah, I don't know. There just needs to be a Marie Kondo for stuff like this. Like someone that doesn't speak your language.
This doesn't spark joy.
Come into you, right. Teach you something that like kind of feels fun to say, ends up being in the zeitgeist a little bit. It just makes it a little easier for you.
Vitamin D, that sparks joy.
That sparks joy.
Yeah, it's just some basic stuff, all like, yeah, it's just basic.
Most stuff in life is basic. It is, and people overcomplicate way too much. If you want a successful podcast, speak confidently in a British accent.
Right, mate.
Australia.
Yeah, I know. I was Australian.
It's so easy
I watched
to
too
go
much
that
Bluey. I watched too much Bluey.
All right, tell me about a new love about an old hobby.
Okay, this is perfect. This is gonna go back to my joy. I was ready for this. Fucking comic books. For my life, I'll try to be short because it's about comic books. We all know I could just go on wild tangents, but I'm going to try not to. I'm talking to you right now. No, I've always loved DC Comics. Growing up, I was a Batman, Superman, Justice League guy all through my life. That's just what it is. I've read Marvel Comics occasionally, like Spider-Man. I like guys. It's just I've never gotten into that universe. At 37 years old, I have gotten into the Marvel universe, and I am like, I've been missing this for my whole life. Like it feels so dumb that I've been depriving myself of this for years. And I've known this was good. There's like a particular like time period that I've like, oh, I want to read this. There's a lot of good stories, and I've just avoided it. And actually,
what got you in?
I've been buying a lot of comic books, right? And I all of a sudden I realized that a lot of the comic books I had all fit within this like zone of time. And all of a sudden I was like, wait, I own that one. I own that one. Wait a minute. So I started buying some Avenger comics, and I read some older Avenger comics, and I was stuck on the Avengers line. And I got to a point where they started branching out into other different areas, and I was like, well, let's go. Let me try that. And and it's also interconnected, and my little nerd brain is just like so like, ooh, it's crazy. It's plot and characters, and I just love it. Great art, great storytelling, so many different. The thing I also like about comics is it's not just, sure, it's superheroes, but there's like, spy stories, and there's like space stories, and there's like detective stories. Like, there's so much to cover in these things. So at 37 years old, I've found a new love of Marvel comics, and it's just crazy.
Why didn't you don't have to know the answer necessarily. Why didn't you like Marvel before? Was it?
It wasn't that I didn't like Marvel. I just loved DC so much. I just thought they were better. I always thought Marvel was kind of like, Marvel fanboys to me were always just so, I don't know, like, not hoity-toity, but I was always like, Marvel, like, ugh. And part of it too is intimidation factor. Marvel doesn't reset. It's the same storyline that's been going since the 70s, right? DC likes to hit the reset button, right? Trademark purposes, right? Every year you change the character types and stuff, trademarks, it's always going to be the same trademark, right? So Batman looks different every 5-10 years because that's Batman. So the Batman from like that's fine. That's not Batman anymore. This is Batman now, But also just for like new readers, it was always interesting to jump in because it was always starting over again. They had a lot of cool, DC also has a lot of cool side stories. They have a lot of like one-shot stuff that you can like read those and they're good. Where Marvel, you want to read something, it's tied into this giant universe. And that's a lot more like, oh, I got to read this and this and this to understand. Where I could read Batman Year One and I know what that's about. That's just bad. You know what I'm saying?
You know those jokes about like guys turning a certain age and becoming obsessed with the Roman Empire? You're kind of doing that with comic book culture. Like you're obsessed now with history of the comic universe.
100%.
Like it took a while for you to become old man interested in World War II.
Yeah.
Or the Avengers.
Absolutely. But I'm going through like the Avengers backlog and, I'm seeing how it all starts. And, it's comic books. So it's not like it's like, again, Moby Dick or these like, Warrant Crime and Punishment, right? I can gobble them up and it's good and it just makes me happy. It's not, I don't have to overthink it or anything. I don't have to think about complex ideas. I mean, that's not true. There's a whole superhero civil war, what side do you want to be on? And it was really like, authority versus like freedom and stuff like that. So you're dealing with, not like real complex ideas, but it's like, you're thinking and stuff.
They're
like
proxies for more complex ideas, right? Like
absolutely.
Slightly different versions of a quite complex situation.
That's why you love sci-fi. They're all analogies for life, right? You could take this and, it's these big grand things, but then you can really kind of filter them into your life.
I like that. Yeah, one of my favorite quotes is art is a lie to tell the truth. So it's a way probably for you to come like to the information you need with a more unbiased, worldview. You're not get caught up in the day-to-day headlines you hear.
I feel like reading comic books has made me a better human being, right? I am a lot more empathetic. I want to put that superhero cape, that invisible superhero cape on and like help people, help my fellow man, help my fellow stranger because, that's just what you're supposed to do, right? I have like a natural instinct. Randy, my fiance, she like makes fun of me because like oftentimes like there'll be danger and what do? I like walk towards it. Not like, whatever. But this woman was choking. She likes to tell the story. This woman was choking in Panera and like nobody got up, but she started choking and I slowly got up and nobody was doing it. So I went over and like helped this woman and like everyone was like, thank you so much. But I was like, no one was doing anything. Like, somebody's got to stand up. And I feel like I've read so many comic books, like I'm going to be the guy to stand up on the airplane. When something crazy happens, little old me, I'm going to be like, fuck, I got to do it. I don't want to do it, but who else is going to do it? You know what I mean? It's like,
have you heard the term Christ complex? What's the superhero version of a Christ complex? Like, what would the word play be?
Oh man, it's like, it's like the Superman. You want to be Superman.
Yeah,
I say you put on the superhero cape. That's like the analogy I use. You put on your Superman cape because you want to pretend like you're Superman. That you could do all these things you can't really do because you're not Superman. You don't have all these abilities. You can only do what you can do, right? Yeah, it would be definitely superhero complex though.
Or maybe, I'm trying to think of maybe Superman syndrome. Or...
So yeah, Superman syndrome. I got it heavily. No, I mean, it's not like in life I'm not like chasing ambulances or anything, but there's a couple of times in your life where things are going down, and like I won't run from it. I'll run towards it because it's like, I don't know, something's broken in my brain. Like, let me help. You know, like I don't know.
Oh no, that's important. Yeah, I would much prefer to be with you in the trenches of warfare than other people.
Right, I'd be the dummy to jump on the grenade. You know what I mean? Like, I wouldn't be that guy to be like, ooh, I'd be like, I gotta do it, you know? And then I die, but like, I don't know, it's just, I feel like I would die. But that's just, you know what I mean? I don't know.
Some people gotta die, you know, so other people can live.
Right.
And that's where the superhero syndrome comes in.
Anyways, yeah, super syndrome.
No, it's good stuff.
What's yours? I wanna know what yours is.
It's good stuff. New thing for the old hobby, definitely has to do with houseplants, plant care. I've been doing something called air layering. Basically, you can help grow roots, like when a plant is still living. If you want to take cuttings of a plant, it's basically just taking saran wrap. I use sphagnum moss, just like a growing medium.
Okay.
You ball it up in this saran wrap. You cut a little hole in it, and I've been using aluminum like wire to like prop it up against where the roots want to come out naturally in the plant. So it's a way to like trick the plant into simultaneously living normally with its like current root structure and growing medium, but then to start like getting ready for the future when you want to like cut it off and create a new one. So I guess the human equivalent would be if your post-college son or daughter is still living at home and you want them to get off their ass and get on their own feet, you start making them pay you rent as a parent before they get out there in the real world. And they're like, well, how am I supposed to do? Oh, what the hell?
You're already paying rent?
You get them growing the roots ahead of time, you know? Maybe you make some friends ahead of time.
That's funny.
Get a little bit of money coming in ahead of time.
That's kind of cool.
It's new.
Yeah.
See how it turns out? I'm doing it with my expensive plants right now. They're kind of hard to grow. But it's kind of giving me some new life. I actually was getting kind of sick of houseplants.
Oh, wow.
In a way. Well, just I got more into like gardening, outdoor plants, and bigger, longer term things than I was just like...
You guys living in a house, you pathetic pieces of crap. Let's go outside. That's where the real action is.
You know, there's a little
you guys
subtext
rely
there.
on me. You guys rely on me, you know? I don't need you.
It's a manifestation of switching from, I don't know, being a young socialist to an old capitalist, right? Or something like that. But it's funny, like sometimes you have to suffer through periods of a hobby where you're not like feeling it anymore.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Or just it's not the same, or you're not learning enough anymore, and you have to like get to that next stair step of like finally like learning something new or getting interested again.
Finding a new avenue into the, you know, because back to I wasn't reading. I mean, I was reading comic books, but I was very specific. Like I wouldn't read everything. I'd be like, oh, this looks good. I might put that on the shelf. I'll read that in a little bit. But now I'm at a stage where I'm just gobbling up everything. It's like crazy. I'm like back like I was a kid. I'm just reading. Oh, that's next. Okay, I gotta read that. I gotta plan that. Okay, but you know, it's like it's crazy, right?
Have you also had interest, another comic question, specifically in like the way you take care of your comics? Because I feel like when you're younger, you probably don't put them in plastic sleeves and do all the adult stuff. And then eventually you learn that they do degrade over time. You leave one in the window, the sun fades it terribly and you feel bad. And you start doing those things that end up making it a more like rich hobby than it originally was. Like, or it's more skills within that hobby interest, right?
Yeah, that's one area where in the storage of my comics where I wish I had better. See, so I really don't, I don't really don't read like single issues. I read a lot of what they call trade paperbacks or like hardcovers, right? Because I am a freak. I can't just read a single issue of a comic book. I got to read 6 or 7, right? Have an addictive personality. One comic book? Oh God, I got to read the whole thing, right? Because that's the idea, right? Comic books are made so you buy the next one, right? It doesn't end. It's you want to buy the next one. You want to buy the next one, right? It's a continuous story, so you keep buying, right? It's a very consumerist hobby. But like I would want to get the full story, so I'd buy the 6 issues. So I have a lot of trade paperbacks. So I have like kind of like a library of books. It's more books than it is like single issues. But that being said, like I do wish that I had a better way of taking care of them. Like right now they're just on the shelves. I have so many shelves full of books.
That doesn't have to be your interest. I was just asking as an example because I'm sure
it is a thing that I've been thinking about a lot in the last like couple of years. Like because at this point it's this collection that I have is massive. It's massive.
Yeah.
So what am I gonna do with it now? You know, that's where I'm at with this now. Like, again, I'm getting older, but like I have literally hundreds of pounds of comic books.
I kind of like the idea. I romanticize the thought that you fully like live in your lifestyle. Like if you tear the pages a little or like get your grubbiness on them.
Yeah.
Like I feel that way with books. Like make it yours. Like this is a copy of this book made for you. You can just print another copy that can be for someone else.
Yeah.
Like not everything has to be an heirloom piece.
I
I don't see myself having any joy in comics if I had to read each one with white gloves
And
in
I
a
don't.
dehumidified room.
And that's the thing. I don't read I don't collect comics as like the joy isn't in the collecting for me. The joy is in the reading of it, right? And then having the cool collection of like all of these stories, right? That's the joy in it for me. I love reading it and I love the content, right? I want the big universe in my brain. I want it all, in here, right? So like I do know people that are very fastidious. Is that the word? Like very particular about their comic books, and they're inclined
Anal
to control.
is the word.
Absolutely, they're bagged and boarded, and then these are slabbed and they're graded, and they're this and they're that, and it's just that's just part of that culture that I just was always like, meh. I just want to read them. I want to enjoy the story. I'm not in it for the gatekeeping. There's a lot of comic book gatekeeping with that shit. And that was never what I was into. I was just like, let me read the thing. You know what I mean? Like that's where I'm at. And I think my collection, like I've always been very free with it. Like when people want to come and read, I'm like, oh, here. Like Steve, I got him reading some comics. I got him one for Christmas. So then he was into it. So now I'm like, here's a stack. So like here's a stack, right? Like you like this? I got, and I'll give you 5 more that are similar to this or like that. I love recommending things to people.
That's cool. Yeah,
like,
that's a part of it for sure. The curation element of comic.
I love that part.
Yeah.
I love that part. Oh, you like this?
This is a funny aside, but it's driving me crazy. I feel like your mic is coming out. Can you push the mic cord in?
Oh no.
No, it's good. I've been checking the levels. You're getting it, but it just looks like it's coming out. I guess it's fine.
Just it arcs to the left, dude. Just leave it alone, okay? It's perfectly normal, okay? Just the way it hangs.
Signals are looking strong, okay? I'm not
Just
saying
the way
you
it
have a
hangs.
short signal,
Oh my
so to
God.
speak.
It's not the size of the signal. It's the
We've talked a lot of positivity, a lot of things we
sure.
love. I feel like it's so, a lot of the podcasts we've done ends up being like a complaint session. It's so attractive, right? It's just so easy to go there. Well, not necessarily us, but just podcasts in
I
general.
don't watch us, so I don't know what we do. I don't know.
There's a seduction to pessimism. This is a common thing where like you want to sound smart in a podcast format. So then you point out everything that's wrong with the world or even the things you normally would talk highly of, you'll still kind of be overly negative because you don't want to be seen to be some sort of doughy-eyed dipshit when you're talking about stuff. But we've done enough positivity so we can, I think, at one point now, talk about something negative. What's something you're not looking forward to this year in 2024?
It's really easy.
I think it's easy for me too.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's something that the majority of America is not looking forward to.
Okay, I'm not the only one, hopefully.
Yeah, it's going to be the election at the end of this year. Yeah.
What the hell? I can't believe we have to do that again.
No.
I'm ready to move to a dictator. At least guy lives 20, 30 years in office. At least you don't have to talk about the election until the son is old enough to take over, right?
If he was benevolent, sure, let's do it,
No, but for real, I'm not looking forward to the whole Biden-Trump matchup. It's just going to be another rehashing the 2 oldest candidates in history, breaking the record of the last 2 oldest candidates, which was them 4 years ago.
It's remarkable this is where we're at, though. We are this country, this day and age. We have just 2 octogenarians up there, battling for our vote. And
like we've seen the debates, and a lot of people obviously take pleasure in like the entertainment value of it all, which I get.
I watched all the Republican debates. I watched all the Republican debates this year.
Did you?
Yeah, all the primaries without Trump. Yeah, I watched all of them
without Trump, which is like watching AAA baseball for God's sakes.
That was part of why I wanted to watch it, because I wanted to see what would I was having no expectations. I was still disappointed. But yes, it's.
I still can't believe how much time people are wasting now. Yeah. I mean, we're talking about now. Let's move on quickly from this one.
No. I think it's okay.
Stay here, but like
we're in early stages, so it's okay. I think it's okay to talk about it because we're in the early stages.
I'm starting to see a lot of coverage on it.
Yeah,
like,
it's getting there.
People talking like, "Oh, Michelle Obama's going to really be the candidate," and like, it's just bullcrap.
Gavin, no,
it's
dude,
clearly not going to happen.
You've looking at the wrong conspiracies. It's Gavin Newsom, okay, and everyone's losing their mind because California's on fire, so it can't be Gavin, but like, I can't believe they're going to make it Gavin.
It's French laundry guy from the pandemic. Yeah, right.
Gavin, and then Taylor Swift is going to be his running mate. That's the... Travis Kelce will be the Secretary of State, so no worries.
Oh, that guy.
Beep, beep. See, they liked it. They liked it. They proved that message. No, it's not that I want to talk about the election. It's just like, it's all of this...
I just hate that we have to do it, honestly. Yeah. I want to talk about anything else.
Yeah,
it's just...
It's a binary choice, people. I hate all of this, all this. It's a binary choice. You have choice A or choice B. There's not choice C. There's not choice D. Regardless of what they say, the third party bullshit, you can either choose this one or that one. Those are your choices. And I think it's really obvious. Like, what was it? Killer Mike was on something, and he's like, you know, they were trying to get him to say he'd vote for Biden, and he just doesn't want to say it. And I completely agree. I don't dislike Biden. I think he's done a lot of good and positive things for this country. Agree with me or disagree with me, that's your own fucking thing. But I'm going to kind of plug my nose and vote, right? It's not like I'm doing it like, yeah, Biden, right? It's doing it because the other choices are dog shit, right?
Both are so embarrassing.
But they are. That's the thing. It's just, you're right.
My silver lining on it almost is that, like, I hope that we get this crammed down our throats so hard this year, one terrible candidate on one side versus one terrible candidate on the other side, that it actually kills like an interest in politics.
Oh my God.
Because it has become like a sport.
I tell you what.
Type thing, especially with the way media has evolved and like anyone can be like a pundit now. We're even doing it right now.
I'm a pundit.
Let's be real. But in a way, like, I just want it to stop. Like, people putting way too much energy on the national stage when they're not even, as I said earlier, taking vitamin D and doing the obvious stuff they can be doing to make their lives better.
I have to give you some bad news, bud. It's not going to happen.
You don't think it's going to die?
No, I think it's going to get worse. I think when you see that there's people like, you know, Lauren Boebert, George Santos, Nancy Mace, and
I don't know who the fuck you're talking
these
about.
These are all, of course, Republicans, and I'm sure there's Democrats that are doing it, but these are all people that are about the social media. You know, they're really trying to be pundits. They're being elected as representatives so they can go and sell their books and then go on Fox News and become pundits, right? That's like the career they want, right? It's not really about accomplishing anything for your constituents. It's about the next level of entertainment that you're going to get to now, right? So the Congress has become a farm system for punditry, right?
Funny. Yeah.
So I don't think you're going to see
less. It's all
less.
about being an influencer at the end of the day, right? Like,
absolutely. Social media influence, that's what this all is, clout. That's what we're all about now in this day and
maybe
age.
that's it. It's like enough boomers have to get over that curve of being old enough. Like, once the boomers are gone, like, you're not going to look at politics on like a traditional broadcast television being the important thing. You're just going to be a younger person, like as an aging millennial or Gen Xer, watching people on social media. Like, it's just kind of cutting to the chase a little bit.
Absolutely.
Let's move right on.
Yeah, sorry.
I'm actually going to skip a question. Let's talk about feng shui.
Okay.
You seem to light up a little feng shui.
It was something that I was trying to get into when I was younger, and it just didn't work for me. I shouldn't say it didn't work. I didn't try hard enough, right? You have to really...
I don't know much about it. You always hear stuff like, oh, feng shui, you're supposed to put your couch facing this, or you put your bed facing away from a door, right? Whatever it may be, facing toward the door.
I forgot a lot of the tenets of like what it was. But it's
you
all
implement
about,
anything in your life?
I can't even remember. But back in the day I did. But it was like making sure that like just like the flow of energy and like where you put your stuff, and like not having things like block certain areas. Like, you didn't want chairs were like in the corners or certain things, so like just the way the energy would flow in the room.
Do you remember any of the principles of feng shui?
No, none.
So feng shui is like Mandarin for forgettable shit, basically.
Yeah, right. No, but it was just such like a fun, like it was like a thing that I was, and dude, I've forgotten so much stuff, but like I just remember like reading a book about it and like how it'll like help your energy and it'll make you happier, and like, but a lot of it was like Marie Kondo, getting rid of a bunch of stuff.
Okay.
I remember a lot of it was like slim down your stuff.
I dig that one, actually. I'm into that.
You know, it was like feng shui was not about like having the most stuff. It was very anti-materialism, if I remember correctly. It was like clear things. You know, I remember like having there's like a Zen garden, and you do like the sand for the Zen garden. That was like part of it.
Are you just mixing all Asian culture?
No. I mean, I could be, but no. I had to be like 2009, 10 maybe.
Sorry, 29?
Sorry, 2009. I'm sorry, 2009.
I thought you were saying like, this has been 20. I thought you were going to say 22, 29. Like, you said the oldest possible age.
No, 2009. So I had to be like 17 or 18, maybe to 20.
I saw one. I know. I just saw like videos, of course. Like, I think a lot of times what we get triggered on or like activated towards is like a short form video you see now. Like, it all of a sudden like infects your mind. Good thing. I'm taking it as a good thing. But one I saw was that your nightstands next to your bed are supposed to be the same height as your bed.
Yeah.
Because you wake up in the morning and you don't have something like lording over you, right? Like my nightstands are actually like 6 inches, about 6 inches over my bed. So maybe, if I'm in the right mood, I'm about the same height. But overall, you do have your nightstand like kind of up in your face, right? Your phone is even above your eye line. Like,
oh, man, I'm really killing myself because I wish I didn't.
And that kind of got to me. I kind of felt like, I'm not living with good energy in the morning, which is super important. Like I make my bed every morning, and I feel like that's been a major activator for good like energy in my life.
I wish I didn't say I knew anything because I don't remember anything. So that's like, it feels like fake. Like I just don't remember anything. But
How are your nightstands?
I don't have nightstands. So actually, that's
what do you
not true.
use as a nightstand?
I don't have a floor. So I put my phone and I just put it on the floor next to my bed.
Do you think having a nightstand would improve your life?
No, not at all. No, what do I need a nightstand for?
How do you feel like scrabbling onto the floor to grab your phone? Do you grab your phone right in the morning?
Sometimes, yeah. Usually.
Sometimes. Do you or not?
I do. Yeah,
Don't lie to me.
I absolutely do. Because sometimes, you know what it is?
Face down, face up.
So what I like to do is like, I'll be like, when I sleep, like I'll like, depending on where I am, like, and I'm really groggy, I'll like lean over the bed and look at the floor and I'll turn the brightness up really high, and then the brightness will be like, oh, okay, I'm awake now. And then I'll, do a little scrolling sometimes, but it's kind of like, so I get the wake up call of it, because if I don't, then I'll like rumble to the bathroom and I'm like grumble, and I'm just not, sometimes I need that like jolt to like.
I like it for that too. I've definitely heard the same. I mean, like you hear Huberman and stuff now talking about how that's like supposed to be just bad for you. Just you're getting artificial light or the color of the light.
Huberman tells me that I'm doing a lot of bad things for my brain right now. There's a lot of bad things that I'm doing to it. But
I found out Andrew Huberman is cousins with Tom Segura.
I did know that.
You did know that?
I did know that. Because they had a podcast together and they talk about it, yeah.
I feel like it elevates Tom Segura and brings Huberman down kind of massively.
Absolutely. Oh, these are from the same gene pool? Ah, shit. Maybe Huberman's giving me bad advice.
Huberman's such a serious, respectful person.
Absolutely.
And his cousin is like showing pictures or videos of people like slicing their penis off.
Yeah, getting hit by a car. Yeah, absolutely. Bullying people, bullying TikTok people. Oh my gosh. Yeah, absolutely.
So fucking
very
funny.
Crazy. Hey, that's again the magic of the gene pool, right? You never know what you're gonna get. Humans, right? You think
both successful.
Yeah, both incredibly successful, right?
Incredibly successful.
Here, who'd you rather be though? Would you rather be Tom or would you rather be Huberman?
I would rather be Andrew Huberman if
absolutely.
possible, because in the morning the sunlight will make your body, your muscles, and your beard larger.
Does he do like the anus light? Like does he do the sun on his butthole? Like one of those guys? Like I need the light of the sun, the vitamin D, to rub on my taint and anus to give me the strongest power.
I used to downward dog facing east in the morning. Now if you take a mirror and put it under your taint, you can get a similar effect on your balls and asshole.
That's what I'm about.
How about you? Who would you rather be?
Tom. Yeah, absolutely Tom.
Okay. Maybe you are the Tom and I'm the Huberman.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, that's
100%.
I did this with Austin too, and
he was
happy to be Tom too. I don't know what it is. I mean, Tom is funny as hell.
You are enlightened and smart.
No, don't do that. Don't do that.
And I am making masturbation jokes.
I take things too seriously.
You want to talk about brain health, I want to talk about masturbation jokes. I think we can really, at the basis level, right?
Yeah.
It's not really...
It's just that, you can't fight nature. That's just how it is.
It's not that you're better than me, but you're better than me. But, it's just more that, I like dirty humor.
Speaking of good or bad, tell me a bad thing you've turned into a good thing in your life.
Oh, man, okay. Well, now we're being silly, but when you first said this, I had a real heavy one. But now I don't even know if I want to say it. But I kind of do. I kind of do.
Say whatever you want.
Well, I don't know.
I can start. You want me to start? You think about it?
Yeah, you start. You start.
So mine's like a pretty simple one, inspired by the fact that I was just like looking into my yard while writing this question. I saw these two bunnies that are constantly in my yard.
What are they doing?
I love plants. I mentioned gardening and stuff earlier. They're not banging, unfortunately. Not that I can see with my limited vision. No.
He's just sitting out with his coffee watching these bunnies fuck in the morning. That's like just your morning.
Come on, go for it. Go for it. I'm like, I'm trying to coach them. Yeah, exactly. No, just they've like eaten some of my plants. Like I had holly shrubs out there that they love to snack on in the winter. And I recently put up like this plastic fencing to stop my dog from getting out, and they chewed through the fence. Sure. They cause a little destruction, right? So like initially I was a little annoyed with them, but they will not stop patronizing my yard. And I'm turning into a good thing. I'm like, they want to spend time here. I don't know what to say. It's a good vibe. They're digging the vibe.
Just want to say, that rabbit you fed me earlier was delicious, by the way.
Exactly. Things go south, I can always shoot them. Post-apocalyptic, whatever it may be. I have a readily available food source. So lots of positive things. I don't have to get all bent out of shape. I can always buy new plants, grow new plants. It's the ultimate example of abundance is plants. There's always going to be more stuff shooting out of the ground.
Yeah.
But bad thing, I've turned into a good thing. I now... proud owner of a Garden of Eden.
You've accepted the bunnies.
I only had the bunnies so far. Well, that's Noah's Ark. I'm
Yeah,
mixing up biblical stuff.
Oh man. See, I was gonna do heavy. Okay, I'll just. No. It was so funny because when I first was gonna say it, I was like, oh, it's just easy. I'll just talk about that. I had like a little bit of a drinking problem, and now I feel like that has turned into something that I take a lot of strength from. Right?
Yeah.
It was something that was something very horrible and something I never thought I would escape. But now like I can talk to people about it and it's like this like uplifting thing. It's been like a true blessing in my life. I hate to use the word blessing, but it was just such a negative. And now the same thing is become an incredible positive thing. Something that I never wanted to talk about. Something that it was like all this, but now it's like I can talk to people about it. I talk to coworkers about it. I talked to somebody at the end of work today about it.
You're like out at work. That's cool, man.
Yeah, I'm totally. And
Heck yeah.
because somebody was saying how they just stopped. And then, there was all the discussion and talk. And then I waited for a moment. I was like, well, 3 years for me. And everyone's like, what? And then I got some fist bumps. It's a different world now about it too, right?
It totally is.
It's totally,
dude, it's inspirational as hell.
But
oh
whatever.
My God.
It's not about the ego thing.
No.
I really feel
it's just great.
Yeah, I just find joy talking to people about it and being able to share my story, being honest with my story, and people like being really receptive to it and being like, wow, like that's, wow, it's of course, yeah, it is a bit of an ego stroke, right? It does feel good when people tell me a good job, but I just think like for how bad my life was and how bad shit were to where I am now, it's like crazy, right? It's just completely crazy. So that's something that I think I was a negative that's now a positive.
Oh,
and it's a way heavier than your bunny thing. So I didn't mean to go there. I was trying to think.
No,
And then when you started the bunny thing, I was like, fuck, this is way too heavy. Like, what do I got? Like,
that's cool though. It came up at work.
Yeah.
What was your coworkers' experience? What was their like language about it?
So it was like,
I'm curious even how you get there,
but when people start talking about drinking at my office, it's a big drinking culture. They have, beer in the lunchroom, right? There's 2 taps.
Really?
And at the end, they do happy hour.
Yeah.
And that's weird, right? So I had my one of the managers there, he like asked me for a drink the first time in the new office. He's like, hey, you want to come have one with me? And I was like, yeah, maybe next time. Dude, as awkward as possible,
So
right?
hard.
I was like, it was like, and I left and I was like, oh, that's so weird. Like, cause he's a manager and I like him and he was just trying to connect and I was so weird about it. But then as time has gone on, I've been a lot more like, hey, actually, I told him, I was like, yeah, I don't drink. And he had found out that I don't. And he's like, oh, that's cool. No big deal, blah, blah, blah. And then he was like, I do. And it was cool and it was open. Today, though, somebody that was like they hadn't drank in like 4 weeks or something like that because they were having struggles, whatever. So he's like, it's been 4 weeks. Some guy was like, oh man, I'm gonna get shit faced tonight, and he was like, oh, I'm not gonna drink for a long time. And the other guy said, yeah, I don't drink either. And it's hard.
Someone said I'm gonna get shit faced tonight in response to like I've been sober 4 weeks.
Yeah, I can't remember what came first, but it was like, oh, I'm gonna get.
Also, what words did he use? Did he say like I'm sober or like I haven't drank in 4 weeks?
Yeah,
was it more like light talk, like where he didn't specifically say I'm an alcoholic or whatever?
Yeah, it sounds like he wouldn't get to that point where he wasn't like, but he saw, it sounds like he recognized there was a big problem in his life. And he was like, I need it, because the one guy was like, well, I can't, it's interesting because some people don't understand, right? Because they just drink normally. Like the one guy was like, I just have a glass of wine, that's it. And then he was laughing because he's like, yeah, I'd have a box of wine. And I hadn't said anything at that point, but I was like, mm-hmm. And then he just was like, you can't just have one. And I was like, nope, I can't. Like, that's just not the way I'm wired, right?
Yeah.
1, give me 10, right? If you're going to 1, why not 10, dude? And like, so anyway, it was like a lull, and I was like, yeah, it's been 3 years for me. I haven't had a drink. And then he turned around and was like, what? And he gave me a fist bump. He's like, hell yeah. And then everyone in the room was like, really? Because one of them was he's kind of my boss, and he didn't know, and he was the one who said he was going to get shit faced. And I was like, I don't think he didn't say shit faced, but it was like, I'm going to drink heavily. But he was like, really? You haven't had it in 3? And I was like, yeah, no, it's like, but it is what it is, right? Like, again, it's crazy that I'm talking about this on a podcast, right? Like I never ever thought I would be like, hey guys, like I am Matt. I am an alcoholic, right? Like what the fuck? I remember like it's just crazy that I'm here in my life now talking about it. It's still weird, it's still a little funky, but honestly, like my life is just like so much better, right?
Yeah.
It's so much better.
Yeah.
Better than anything I could have possibly comprehended. This shirt, maybe I shouldn't show where I wear, but I love this jacket a lot. So no, don't look at it. Don't look at it. But like my place of work now, I could not be at this place of work being the person I was 3 years ago. The person I am now, I'm not fucking perfect. I'm still Matt Solers, who's a pretty big scumbag. But like, there's a lot of other positive things in my life that have happened because of that. And I'm super grateful, right? Like it is what it is.
Awesome. Spun it into gold, man. We are in the final stretch here. Thank you for being so honest. Thank you for sitting down.
This whole podcast has been a lie. I'm not actually an alcoholic. Whoa!
Thank you for being a stand-up guy. I'm going to skip the tips on organization and planning, which is kind of funny considering I didn't plan correctly and get to them.
I will just say on that, like I literally, we were just joking about it, but like that was my business development goal, was become more organized as a person. And it's not. I'm not. I'm pretend organized. People think I'm organized at work, but it's like I'm not. It's a hodgepodge.
Hey, perception's half of reality.
Absolutely. Perception is reality, right?
Matt, I want a yes or no on this one, and then we're going to go to the Oscars prediction.
Okay.
We got to do that real quick.
Yeah, we're coming down.
Am I hurting myself by using AirPods?
So, okay, this was the other one.
Yes or no?
Maybe.
Okay, jury's out for me too. So we'll move on to the Oscars category. We got to do it. Otherwise, we're not going to do it. There's so many movies.
There's a great story y'all are missing right now.
Hold on to it.
I'm going to.
Because this is going to, I think it will keep coming back in the culture. I live for AirPods, so it's kind of a tough thing. But basically, if the Oscars were still 5 Best Picture nominees, we could have gone there. But now they do like 10
20
nominees now, which is crazy. So I'm just going to start by talking about the movies, and we're going to say whether we've seen the movies. I want to talk about the relevancy of the Oscars in modern life. Have you seen The Holdovers?
No.
Haven't either. American Fiction?
No.
Same, not myself. The Zone of Interest?
Nope.
Just watched it, actually.
How was it?
Watch it. It was good.
Yeah.
Do you know much about it?
No.
Okay. Barbie?
No.
Saw Barbie. You didn't catch Barbie?
Still haven't seen it.
Damn, dog. The yin to the yang of Barbie, Oppenheimer.
No, still haven't seen it. No.
Wow, okay. A perfect 5 for 5 for Matt. Poor Things.
Nope, still haven't seen that either.
I did catch Poor Things. It is kind of a... I'm not even... I
really want to see it
so bad. That's my favorite.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna say right now, Poor Things is amazing.
Yeah,
Not just because it's sort of a hot porno in a way, which is
It's a retelling of Frankenstein, right? Or like a Frankenstein.
It's sort of like feminist Frankenstein.
I really want to see it. I've heard nothing but good things.
It's amazing. It's amazing. Past Lives.
Actually, no, I still haven't seen that one either.
Not one. Okay, yeah, that one I haven't seen. Anatomy of a Fall. Foreign language film. Not myself. No. We got 2 more. Do you think you've seen either of these other 2? Do you know what they are?
Oh, I believe I do. Yeah, go ahead.
No, let's test. What are the other 2?
No, I actually don't know, and I guarantee you I haven't seen them. No, I don't know. I haven't seen a single one this year.
Maestro on Netflix.
Yeah, that's the one with Bradley Cooper, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't seen it.
Yeah, it's a sack of shit. You should miss it.
Yeah, it's totally an ego stroke is what that movie is.
Oh, it's ridiculous.
Yeah,
it's like horrible because it just shows if you let an actor take control of the director's role that they just want a crazy nose, a crazy voice. They just turn it into some huge actor thing. Oh yeah,
look how good he is. Look at how good he is.
And he's just like,
what the fuck, man? Okay, I guess.
There's more truth in these movies. I think sometimes when you haven't seen them and you just see the trailers and whatnot. And the final one, Killers of the Flower Moon.
Yep. That book is on my list. I'm gonna read the book over the summer or soon. It's on my list, and then I'm gonna watch the movie. So, yes.
You haven't seen a single one of the Best Picture.
No, and I knew that going into this, and that was why I know so much about each movie, almost all those movies individually, but I've seen none of them. I don't watch movies anymore. I just don't.
Good. That's all good. You talking about taking joy from reading at the beginning of the podcast.
I do. That's all I do is read books now.
No, that's
I
all
read books
good.
and I watch Friends. I've been watching Friends, which is just that's a shameful thing I just said, but I just it's easy.
I love Friends. Nothing wrong with Friends.
It's just easy.
We'll skip the Oscar talk then. I already talked about.
I did want to see Poor Things. Who do you think is going to win, though? Who do you think is going to win? Do you think it's going to be Poor Things, or do you think Oppenheimer's going to take it?
Oppenheimer is going to take it. It definitely should be Poor Things.
Yeah.
I've seen Maestro, Killers of the Flower Moon, Oppenheimer, Barbie. I mentioned Zone of Interest. The Holdovers just seems like the Paul Giamatti movie.
Yeah.
It seems like ChatGPT wrote its first movie. It's like, take Paul Giamatti in like this, curmudgeon way you've seen him in every movie. Anyway, I'm not.
No. It's just remarkable
We got
because
to wrap.
the plot of that just sounds like, why is this,
Seems like it's been done, so many times, whatever. Heard it's great. Actually, want to watch it myself.
We'll get there.
You talk about Friends. Let's end on that. A quick one on Friends. Is watching Friends different with Matthew Perry being gone?
I'll be there, kinda. There's moments.
That's the one thing that stopped me from ever wanting to watch it.
I tell you what, I won't even lie.
Sad, right?
I cried the other day.
Yeah?
Yeah, I cried. They were. I think it was the episode where they were proposing, like Chandler and Monica were proposing, and it's just like, I don't know. I started tearing up, and I was like, God damn it! Like, this is sad now,
Yeah, the audience is going like wild.
Yeah,
in the studio.
it's just and I truly love their relationship. Their sitcom relationship is one of my all-time favorites. I love the beginnings of the hiding it from everybody, and how they're a solid couple throughout. They don't break up. They fix their shit, and they're successful, right? I love those two, and it's just sad. It's just like a sad thing.
If you watch a few episodes in a row, do you feel like you forget that he's dead?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Absolutely. No, it's enjoyable.
The magic of media.
Yeah. Richard Lewis passed away from Curb Your Enthusiasm. Shout out to
let's
Richard
end on
Lewis
that.
because I loved him.
Yeah, rest in peace.
And now watching Curb, I absolutely will get a little. I'm a easy crier, but like that last episode he was in, it was about his will, and
crazy.
So just on that note, R.I.P. Richard Lewis, you're the man. So
absolutely.
sad shit.
All right, thanks, Matt. Talk to you next time.